Hi, welcome to What's the Book About? I'm your host Kevin. This is First Dawn by Mike Moscow. This is the story of Lana and Jack Walking Bear and their attempt to go into the distant past to save and change a doomed present. In the present day, a terrorist group has released this killer virus that is wiping out the world. The US government uses a barely understood, mostly working time machine to send two agents back to the year 4000 BC to utterly rewrite history in order to prevent this thing from happening. Now, Jack and Luna have to go back and convince the goddess-worshipping farmers to resist the Krugen horsemen who are invading their land. Now, in our timeline, the Krugen horsemen pretty much started the cycle of war and violence and enslavement. And having just two people trying to stop a war is compounded by the fact that the goddess worshippers have no idea what war is. They have no concept for this kind of level of violence. It's a task that is daunting, to say the least. Okay, so that's the spoiler-free introduction. Be warned, from here on in, there may be a few spoilers. I'll try to keep it to a minimum. When Lana and Jack arrive in the past, the horsemen have actually already started their invasion of the goddess worshippers' lands. They're sacking a town, raping and pillaging, taking everything that they want and destroying anything they feel like. Lana and Jack intercept a train of slave girls being hauled away as prizes when one of the slave girls, Anita, kills a couple of guards and tries to make her escape. It's only with Lana and Jack's intervention that they manage to kill the other guards and save the other slave girls as well as Anita. Now, that group ends up traveling to the next closest goddess worshipper town called Tall Oaks. There they tell their story and try to convince the townsfolk to put up a defense. And it is Anita's heart-wrenching tale of rape and destruction and death that convinces the townsfolk that they've got to do something. And it takes them several months, but Lana and Jack integrate into the town and end up training a small squad of soldiers, or what the goddess worshippers end up calling those that hunt the hunters of men and women. Now, the book ends with the small group of farmers turned soldiers fighting on foot against battle-hardened veteran warriors on horseback. So what's good and bad about this book? Well, this book pulls no punches, and that's a good thing. The brutality and violence of the horsemen firmly sets them as the villains, but the author spends enough time with those characters to set up their divergent worldview, their particular faith and religion, so they're not a cartoon villain doing evil for evil's sake. And the goddess worshippers themselves, while primitive, are never portrayed as being stupid, merely lacking some of the nuances and knowledge that those time travelers already have and the audience has. And the fact that it takes time for Luna and Jack to integrate into the community provides for a lot of good character development and a lot of good setup, and it really serves the narrative very well. Now, Anita, as the rape victim turned warrior, and her seething rage that is just barely below the surface, provides a good counterpoint for the goddess worshippers and showcases a lot of the danger of what happened in our timeline, where the survivors of the rape and violence just perpetuated more because Lana and Jack try to spend time trying to teach her to be able to fight without becoming the monster that she's fighting. And it is done really well. And the only minor quibble I have with this particular book is the time travel mechanic. I understand the author wants to get right into the story, so not much time, in fact, not enough time is spent explaining why or how they have to go back 4,000 years. A few little lines of dialogue was all I really needed to smooth out that little roughness in the story. So in the end, what is the book about? This is an introduction to what being a soldier is for civilians. Military life as a profession is very different than modern civilian life. And the author, by taking two soldiers from our present into the past, strips away all of modern conveniences and the modern, like the guns and tanks that people associate with soldiers, and actually strips it down to the essentials of what it is to be a soldier, what military life is like, following orders, the use of violence, the burdens of command, the difference between warriors and soldiers, and the reasons someone would take up the role of soldier. And it finally ends with the integration of the soldier into the community. And if you've ever wondered what it's like, what military life is like, this is a really good place to start. It's a book filled with adventure and romance and intimacy and really good character growth and development, and showing multiple views of what it means to be a soldier. And it's done so well that I have to give this book 4 out of 4 stars. Published by Ace Science Fiction under the author's original pen name of Mike Moscow, it is also available as an e-book under his real name of Mike Shepard. So there's no reason you can't go out, read this book, and enjoy. Till next time, have a good one.